And I am back with another message. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Tori. If you come across this video today, I have a divine, urgent message that I was completely stripped away from my work to come and deliver this message, okay? I was sitting there doing my work and I was telling God, like, I'm going to make note of this and then I'm going to go and record the video. I'm going to send the message just as soon as I get done. And I was completely stopped. Like, no, you're not going to do this when you want to. You're going to go do it now because it needs to go out now. This message has to reach somebody today. Get ready, and I want you to listen closely. Take note if you need to. I always try to remind people when they're watching my videos to go grab something, to take note so you can go back and refer to things later as you need them. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Tori. I'm your partner in transformation. If you're a returning viewer but haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button so you stay notified of the upcoming videos that I put out. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for catching another video. Listen, whoever this message is for, God is speaking to urgently. As I was sitting at my desk and working, there was a message that came through strongly for somebody. You are in a place where it seems like everything is chaotic in your life, or everything keeps crumbling down, like event after event keeps happening, and you are just like almost at your wit's end. You're like, I cannot take any more of this. I cannot bear any more of what is happening to me in life. And I can't speak specifically to what your situation is, but I'm going to give this example. That's how I know it's a specific message for somebody, of when I give it the example of my story. But if this message is for you, and again, take this message back to God for confirmation, what I'm going to share with you. Whoever you are, you've been in this place for a while now. It is not just something new, but the occurrences that have been happening more frequently in your life is causing you to feel like you are at your wit's end. Like, God, I can't take any more pressure here. I'm about to flip. And God wants you to know that you are not under attack. You are not under attack. God is intentionally dismantling things in your life. There's a reconstruction happening in your life. You are not under attack. God is intentionally dismantling things so that he can rebuild things up, on a stronger foundation, a stronger structure that will last, that is going to withstand so much. You've been through so much because of what you are going to do in this lifetime, what God has for you, what role you're going to play. And I don't know specifically, but because of these things, you had to go through the preparation. Okay. Understand that you going through all these different trials. Understand that you're going through all these different heartbreaks. Understand that people are deceiving you, backstabbing you. And it's not to say take all of that. God is now saying that I took you through all of these things, and now that I'm stripping them away, it is because something else, something greater is coming. So you could be trying to hold on to things. You could be trying to hold on to people. You could be trying to hold on to a job. You could just be trying to hold on to different things that God is actually shaking away. God is actually demolishing these things, bringing these things down, taking you away from these people, because it is a time for you to come into a place where God is going to use you the most. Okay. When I became a single parent nearly 10 years ago, I did not understand what was happening in my life. I questioned God. I was angry with God. I questioned so much. I had so much frustration. I had so many fears that I did not understand what was happening in my life. But at the same time, I went into survival mode because I knew I had 2 babies to take care of. Okay. At that time, my son was 1 and my daughter was just a month old. And again, this is nearly 10 years ago. I didn't understand what was happening. So God put me in a place to where I'm going to get to the point of that in a little while. But when God caused this to happen in my life, like I said, I questioned everything. And I'm like, God, I didn't ask for this. Why? But at the same time, I knew I had responsibilities. So I got my head in the game. I made some things happen. I started my first business a little bit even before I became a single parent. And I understood why now that God had me start that business, my very first business. And that was a whole process of getting through fears and things like that. But when God called me out to do that, I later understood why, because I was going to go through this journey of being a single parent, and in that space that I created, my child care program, not only was I able to nurture and care for my own children and be a present parent every single day, but I was able to do it for others and make sure that their children were taken care of. They had a safe place and they could work and take care of their families with no regards to their child's safety, anything. And it led me into a place where I was able to connect with others. I started connecting with other people in the industry, heavily advocating on local, state, and federal level for early child care and education for families, getting their resources that they need and so forth. But getting back to the message, that's the story that God wanted me to share. And it's going to be a little bit more that comes out about this story. But you don't understand right now in the position that you're in and in the current things that are happening, because God can't communicate with you there. Because in this state, you're in a reactive state. You're reacting to whatever is happening. And God wants you to take a pause. Take a pause when things are happening in your life and check in. First, check in with yourself, okay? And I know it's hard, especially when you're going through these different emotions, when you're going through these different triggers. Check in with yourself, even when it's hard. So just do a body scan. Check yourself. See how you are feeling. See what is going through your mind. And after you do that, do not react. Respond. When you're responding, respond to God with your requests. Respond to God with your petitions. Respond to God with how you are feeling. And be transparent about it. God is taking and shaking things down so that he can reconstruct this new foundation, this new structure that you are going to have. Just think about a house, okay? When a house is getting reconstructed, rehabbed, sometimes they start completely over from the ground up. So depending on your specific situation, God may just have to go in and do a little remodeling, revamping, taking out some walls and stuff. But then there are going to be those where God has to do a complete reconstruction. And again, this message is to encourage you that you are not under attack, that something greater is about to happen in your life. Something so strong and something so powerful is about to happen into your life. But God cannot get you there until he reconstructs and takes all those things away that have been hindering you, that have been holding you down. As this is happening, you are going through this rebirth. So you may notice some shifts in your energy. You may notice that you might have to spend a little bit more time alone. You may notice that you might get a little bit more irritable about certain things. You are going through a rebirth. When going back to the story of when I became a single parent, I did not understand. I said, God, I'm a loving person. I'm a caring person. And I had all these different things that I was saying. And God was saying, I understand that. And I didn't understand it at the time. But after I went through my journey of self-discovery, healing, and I did that inner work, and I had that time to sit with God, sit with myself, and figure things out with God's guidance. And I had a coach before. Then I was able to start seeing things clearer. So God is trying to get you into a place where he is able to communicate with you strongly. Because in this current state of mind that you're in, God's not getting through. And that is why God sends destiny helpers to deliver messages, because sometimes our vessels, our minds, our bodies, our spirits are not strengthened to hold that space and that capacity to what God is trying to speak to us in order to start doing greater work through us. I want you to listen to this carefully. After I went through that phase of my life, after I came out with and what I felt like was isolation, after I came out of all that anger and aggression and that confusion and that fearfulness and everything that I had to go through in that time in order for God to get me to the next level, I realized that even in that mess, God allowed me to start my first business. And that business led to so much fruit for me and my children. I was able to buy us a home. I was able to heavily advocate for the community. I was able to connect with individuals that I didn't even think about connecting with, that I've seen in places and seen in spaces, but I never thought I would be the person connecting with them. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So what God is doing in your life now is doing a demolition, taking what needs to be gutted out in order to take you through that rebirth. When you go through this shift, and like I said, you will know if this message is for you because it has already been happening. When you go through this shift, do not forget when God brings you out. Do not forget what God has done for you. When I was in that place of all these different emotions and triggers and stuff, God could not get to me. God could not get to me. So when I went through and got on the other side, and God was able to fully communicate with me, and I was able to understand what was happening, and I was reconnected, I started receiving those communications. I started understanding the processes, because now my mind is in a place that I can be open to receive. Now my body and spirit is in a place that I can be open to receive. My vessel is strong enough to sit back and reflect on my emotions before I react. And God let me know, I loved you too much to keep you in that situation. You didn't understand in that time what I was taking you through, but I loved you so much that I seen what you didn't see. I seen what was happening behind your back. I see what you do not see. I hear what you do not hear. I feel what you do not feel. And I also feel what you feel. Because when you're sitting here and your intuition, that's strong, okay? I'm gonna do something later on that, because that was strong. Your intuition is revealing things. When your mind is thinking about certain things, when your mind has to wonder in certain places about a person, when your mind has to wonder in certain places about your stability, about your well-being, anything of the sort, God checks in. God checks in and says, hey, you're not doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for yourself. But I love you too much to keep you in that space. So I'm going to cause some things to happen in your life. I'm going to cause some things to happen. How long you stay in it is going to be determined by how attached you are to it. Because sometimes when God is trying to shake things up and get things off of us, get things away from us, get us away from things, we cling. We cling, thinking something is being stolen from us. Nothing's being stolen from you. Nothing's being stolen from you. God is taking you through a reconstruction so that he can take you through that rebirth. And I'm also hearing now in this moment that if God is leading you to some things, to lead you through some things, then you have to take the initiative. You have to take the initiative, and you have to take the steps, because just as God had to work at me, God had to work me through this space and this phase of my life where I could not connect fully to what my authenticity was, what God was calling me to do. You're going to have to get into that place to where your vessel is strengthened and you're able to embrace and accept and allow what God is doing in your life, what God is going to do through you. How long you stay in a position that you don't actually want to be in is going to be determined by how attached you are, how much in control of the situation you want to be in. If you want to control every aspect of it and you want this picture perfect outcome, then I'm going to tell you, you're in for a very, very rough ride. But if you begin to allow yourself to trust, if you begin to allow yourself to surrender, if you begin to allow yourself to receive, this is going to be a smoother transition for you. I'm not saying it is going to be flat, smooth, easy. I'm going to say it's going to be smoother because you have help and support along the way. And you have, like I said, allowed, surrendered, released the control of whatever it is God is trying to do through you, and whatever it is God is trying to reconstruct in your life to put you through that rebirth. So I will encourage you, if you are seeing this message, take it back to God for confirmation. And you already know, if what I've said has resonated so far in this video, you already know that this word is for you. Be encouraged that you are not under attack. God is intentionally demolishing things. God is intentionally dismantling things and tearing things down so that you can have this new structure, this new foundation, and your life can go in the direction that it is designed for. When I got this message, God told me to just deliver. Don't try to wrap it up and put a pretty bow on it so that it can sit well with whoever is going to receive this message. God said deliver it. So you may be a person as to where you've asked God for a lot of signs and God has given you those signs. Or you may be a person who just needs to receive a message directly and assertively in order for you to receive it, in order for you to process it. Your life is headed for a major change. I can attest to this. When I was in this place, I didn't understand. I could not receive because I had all of my feelings, all of my emotions involved. God had to get me through certain processes. God had to get my vessel strengthened. God had to get my mind in the right place. God had to remove the barriers that were deeply rooted that I refused to access because I was so consumed with my emotions. I was so consumed with what was happening externally that I didn't want to take a journey within. So I encourage you, if you are seeing this video today, you have to take that journey. You have to take that journey because I could continue to talk about my story, but this isn't about me. This is about you. This message came strongly. There is a process that you have to go through, and I understand why God took me through those things. I understand why God told me, no, you're not going to sit here continuing to try to do some work when I'm telling you I need you to deliver a message. Because somebody needs to hear this message today. Because you need to hear this message today. God is moving in your life strongly. But God needs you to be willing to take the necessary steps. This time in your life is powerful, whether you can see it happening now or not. This time in your life is powerful. And I'm going to keep attesting to this because I went through it. I went through it. So whoever you are, whoever this message is for, understand that God knows. Understand that God is supporting you divinely. I encourage you to start taking your journey seriously. Do not walk in fear. I'm hearing walk by faith, not by sight. Do not walk in fear. Walk by faith, not by sight. Destiny helpers are sent to help you through. And God will cause people to go through a path before you so that when your time comes and your time is up, they're able to help you through it. And that is the beauty about being in the service of the Lord. You choose to become a vessel. You choose to become a channel. You choose to become a servant of humanity. So again, I encourage you, if this is your word, watch it again if you need to. I hope you took your notes so that you can go back to later. And if this resonated with you, do leave a comment in the comment section. Also, do not forget you can download my free self-help guide, A Journey Within, and start going through some of these processes, the very processes that I went through to help me get through my journey when I didn't understand and I was having all these issues happen in life. And these are some of the very things that I had to go through in order to get through. So go ahead and click the link below and download your free self-help guide. I also highly recommend that you grab my book down below, Fear to Phenomenal. That is a book that is going to take you through deep self-discovery, deep self-awareness, so that you can get through these powerful processes of mindset shift, so that you can get through those barriers that are deeply rooted that you may not be aware of. But once you go through these practices and exercises that are in my book and you take time to apply them in your life, you are going to see changes. Okay? Everything that is going to happen for you in your life is going to start with you working on you.